Hello, everyone, and welcome to Final Show. I'm John, the executive producer here, and I've just got a few pre-show notes for you. First of all, I want to let everybody know that our addresses have changed. Our Twitch channel has changed from Senstaku to twitch.tv/FinalShowFilms, and our YouTube channel has also changed to youtube.com/FinalShowFilms. Next, we want to thank our $20 tier supporters on Patreon, which is patreon.com/FFilms, by the way, if you want to go throw a couple bucks our way. That's going to be Cat, Waterflame, Antitonic, Samantha Bates, and Maureen Montee. Thank you guys for that. Also, our website is in the process of getting updated, so go take a look at finalshowfilms.com. We've got Mara and Jeremy are working on updating all of our stuff there, making it look nice and like a modern website, and frankly, they know what they're doing far better than I or Austin ever did. So if you want to check out the things that are changing over there, you go do that. Follow us on Twitter at Final Show Films for updates for all future things, including things that are going on with our website and going on with the Patreon page, and things that are going on live as we stream them, as well as our podcasts and everything else. So thank you very much for watching. Y'all have a good day. That was the wrong screen. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Gran Terra Rebirth. As I went to the reduced view, which had everything fucked up, instead of the everyone view, which didn't. I'm John. I'm the game master for this evening, and joining me today is William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Gashkar Stonecaller, the half-orc barbarian sorceress.
And Jeremy.
Hello, I'm Jeremy. I am playing Harry. A halfling battle master fighter scout rogue.
And Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara, and I'm playing Hope. Scourge Azamar, Revenant, Inquisitive Rogue, Path of the Ancestral Guardians, Barbarian Monk.
Yes.
And Cody.
I'm Cody. I'm playing Corbin, the human battle master.
And Aaron.
Hi, I'm Aaron. I am playing Lulu, who the halfling lycanthrope hunter and cleric of blood.
And Jack.
Hey everybody, I'm Jack. I'm playing Gwynfron Minar, the high elf divination wizard, as well as Eshkill, the wood elf warlock who lives in his brain.
And also want to really quick add on, because I still haven't updated the intro video yet. Thank you to Robbie Summerour, our other $25. We pick up this week not with the group of you in the Tower of the Gods, because last week, while the Plane Shaper was hammering another section of the world together, Gwynfron rolled a natural 1.
Not last week.
Not last episode.
Last
session. And things happen when Gwynfron rolls a natural 1. In particular, when Gwynfron rolls a natural 1 while the Plane Shaper is hammering together another section of the world.
Oh no.
So, Gwynfron, you suddenly become aware of yourself. You're hanging off of a structure of some sort. You sort of look over to where you're holding on to this pipe, and realize that you're sort of hanging off what you instinctively know to be a clock tower. There is a large face with 2 hands slowly sort of maneuvering around a time.
And you need plutonium.
And there's all manner of exposed gear and steam pipe and vent thing. You turn and look at it, and you see a reflection of your own face. Although it's your face, but much younger, and also not blue.
Wow, you already hit Back to the Future 2.
It's you recognize this face. It's your face. It is you from about less than 100 years old.
Right.
Wearing odd gear, and though it doesn't seem odd to you at the moment, and sort of holding in your other hand, so actually on your hip, is an item that you know instinctively to be a gun. You look out over the city that you're sort of hanging over, and you, again, instinctively know where you are. You're in the city of Taram. And you're looking for something. You know that you're looking for something. You're trying to spot something from this vantage point. You don't know what it is in particular.
Oh, okay, so I'm not hanging like I just fell off something and I'm
No.
desperately trying to cling. I'm literally like, okay. Okay.
For a second there, I thought this was going in a Charles Whitman direction, and I was questioning your judgment.
I was going man.
There's a voice in your ear. You sort of reach up, and there's a small pearl that's dangling from your earlobe by a cord that is then wrapped around your ear and put into the actual cavity.
Oh, I thought he suddenly got a piercing.
And there's a voice in your ear calling, Minar, what do you see? You recognize the voice, but you don't have a name for it. It seems to be asking you for an update on whatever it is you're looking for.
Haven't quite found it yet. Still, hang on a minute. I'll let you know what I can find.
On second thought, maybe this is a Charles Whitman direction, but the conspiracy theory version. University of Texas Clock Tower, people, 1966. Look it up.
Yep.
You look out over the city of Taram. And at the same time, it's familiar and unfamiliar to you. At the same time, you understand what you're looking at, and it seems entirely alien. And you're sort of thinking about, why do you know that this is Taram? Why does this feel familiar? I'm not. And out of habit, you start recalling facts, just to sort of isolate yourself in time and space. It's, you know the day, you know the month, you know the year on the current calendar is the year 2000. And know that you're supposed to be up here. Supposed to be looking for. You're part of a group. And as you sort of start solidifying those details in your mind, you snap back to your body. The rest of you,
Bang!
you're back on the elevator. It's going down. Gwynferon, you come to while you're still on the elevator, so there hasn't been a lot of time for anybody to notice you've been staring into space.
I noticed something on the horizon.
You noticed something on the horizon. But you're back in the elevator now.
I am. We should see what's out there. I saw did it look like the silvery oil stuff or not?
You couldn't tell.
Right,
It was just a shadow. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, something. What direction? Like, as it's still fresh in my memory, did it seem like a direction? Could I orient on any features? Do I know where, if when we get outside?
It's really hard to tell direction from the top of the tower, mostly because you don't have any of the things that you use to navigate direction by from that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a survival roll.
Okay. Yeah, 10.
You're not certain what.
Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't clear earlier. Did you verbalize any? Did you verbalize any of
Yes,
what you were
I
saying?
did. Yeah.
Okay.
I saw something on the edge of I don't know what it was.
On the edge of
My vision as we were
the scene?
standing with the hammer, and it went down, and there was like you know how you get like a flash in the corner of your eye
Yeah.
or like movement? Yeah, that. I didn't
When the
catch. I
hammer
don't.
came down.
Yes, I'm worried
Um,
about the oil.
Sorry, what? What about the oil, Hope?
I'm worried it spread. I saw something move when the hammer hit the tower this time. That's not happened before.
Well,
Something move as in
Something very I didn't get a look at it. I just saw a movement away coming out
like
toward the edge of the horizon. You know how it all spreads when the tower
Like something chipped off.
like shrapnel?
maybe.
hold on a second. I found a muffin up
Well-
in the
How
anvil.
much
So
do you have stashed in your bag, Harry?
I found this one. I don't know what
Okay.
you talked about.
Give-
Anyways,
that's
well,
okay.
if that happened, understanding this with the vast knowledge that I do of, I've just kept coming in here with you all because there's cool shit to fight, and apparently we're making the world.
Yep.
If that happened, then maybe we should just check what lands were created, because that's probably where it would be.
Yeah.
What?
And the at least the local part of the world will be fine for at least another 1,000 years or so.
Unless, and I'm
What
just
makes
spitballing
you say
here.
that one, Gwyn?
Harry, for just sort of drinking.
Isn't there a clock downstairs that we might or might not need to worry about that we could check to see
Well,
if
if it's still there.
turned into a sloth that might
Yes,
give us
sloth now.
information?
Yes, that's correct, Lulu.
I'm gonna say unless this time it built something on top of where we are.
Ooh, I would like that, especially if it's not a city.
Gwynferon, you have this there's something weird. There's a pressure just behind your eyes. And you feel like if you closed your eyes and focused, you could see from that perspective again.
Okay. So Gwyn will reach out, steady himself on Gashkar's shoulder, and try and focus down and get back there.
It's almost like it's willing your eyes to open when they're not your eyes, and you get this vision again of yourself, but you don't have any control this time. You're just sort of a passenger, looking as whoever this Minar individual is, sort of looks out, seems to see something, begins talking in their ear, and again, you don't hear any of the words. It's just sort of this muffled underwater audio, kind of. As they then begin to climb back up towards this clock tower face, where there's apparently a door in the clock that they're heading into to get inside. And you're almost like sort of a passive. You're viewing this all with this sort of passive passenger aspect to it. But there's
Are you having an ice cream headache? Muffin will help with that.
You can still hear everyone around you as well. Like,
One moment, he's going back inside.
you watch as he goes inside, and begins to climb down. So there's this, and you see this sort of internal clockwork structure that seems to be powered by some source that you're not familiar with. There are exposed venting and gears all around as he finds a
Through
ladder
the
and
telepathic
climbs
bond.
down.
Gwen, what are you doing?
Through the telepathic bond in response to, hold on, he's going back inside. That's what she said.
I'm getting a view of something to come, I believe. If I could have a bit of quiet. And I'm trying to pull, if I can, more of the more of sort of just the abstract knowledge that I was able to pick up of this is Taram. I'm looking for something. What year is it? To see if there's any, like, we're fighting the corruption. There's horrible things being possessed and turning to metal, anything like that.
Give me an Arcana check.
Okay. 20.
So you try, and you're not quite able to pull any more abstract information. But your knowledge of divination gives you a bit of insight into what's going on. It seems like you have connected yourself somehow, and likely this happened when you had the staff backfiring in the middle of the plane shaper slamming down. You seem to have connected yourself to a potential future.
Okay.
Like linearly connected yourself to a potential future that you can look in on.
Okay.
You have no guarantee that it'll occur,
Right.
much like many of your other divinations that can be altered by simple fact of knowing that it's going to happen.
Right.
But you do have this sort of window into this one possibility. And it seems that in this one possibility, there is someone named Minar who looks just like you.
Yeah, I'm just going to keep watching and hang on then.
All right.
See if anything else notable crops up.
So, while Gwynferon is holding on to Gashkar and with his eyes closed, having said he's going back inside, the elevator comes to a halt and opens up, and you find yourselves all looking back. In addition to looking at Gwynferon, those of you that are, you also find yourselves standing at, once again in the sort of the main room with that hourglass. And in the middle of it,
Has it completely emptied, or it turned
What's it
back
look like?
around, didn't it?
Yeah.
it had stopped entirely. It is now flowing once more.
Okay. I'm gonna go take a closer look at it because if it had the kind of silver oil stuff in it before, I'm seeing if I can see anything like that left.
Now, yeah, you go up and look at it. There doesn't seem to be any oil in it. It seems to be back to how it was prior to this most recent incarnation.
Okay. How long is he gonna do that?
Until they find something useful, I'm going to assume.
Are
I
we
can
supposed to
hear
not be talking?
all of you. But there's a link to a potential future, and I want to see where it leads.
While you're following that, walk very carefully with me. I'm going to try and lead you forward.
Are you sure you didn't just inhale some anvil dust? Cosmic
It's
anvil.
anvil dust from the cosmic reality making anvil. That's probably still magic psychic shit.
I would believe that, yes, the dust of the plane shaper crafting the world would potentially allow one to link to the future.
Or it would make one exceptionally high and make them think that they were.
True. How you doing?
Well,
There,
once he's
Aaron?
done seeing the future, I'll check whether or not he's still
This
high.
muffin is so good. That's how
And then
I.
That's gonna help.
Okay.
That's gonna bring it
Your
down faster.
muffin of ambiguous origin.
Apparently the plane shaper's hammer hit the muffin button.
Is it even a muffin? Could be anything, really.
Well, I'm not seeing the future yet.
I mean, it
That's
looks
all I'm
like a
saying.
muffin. You have no idea what it's constructed of, but it looks
Tell
like a
me
muffin.
I
I would
needed
like-
some magical contraption that I once again found the weird magical thing.
I would like to try and steal the muffin.
Found the one non-violent
But,
mimic, and she's eating it.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe.
You can roll a slide.
But it's Harry. She
All
will
right,
continue
I will
eating
You
do
it
can
that.
if
roll
it
a sleight
became-
of hand with
Yeah.
disadvantage because Harry is actively eating it, and Harry, you can make a perception check with advantage because you're actively eating it.
I
Alright.
need to point out that with advantage, I'm still probably fucked.
21.
Yeah.
Go natural 20. This is literally the only way, and even then, only if natural
Oh
20.
wait,
for
I
automatic wins.
still have whatever, but it's
So it's still a
21.
21.
It's still going to be a disadvantage regardless, just because. This is one of those things where foresight doesn't cancel the fact that Harry is literally in the middle of eating a thing.
I don't know.
Harry, you see Hope trying to very subtly reach for your muffin.
I stab Hope in the hand with my troll bone knife.
Hope, you get stabbed in the hand.
Ow.
We're
If
at,
you
we're
want
in the
some-
bottom of the elevator, correct?
Yeah, the
No,
the elevator's
we're in the
opened up.
lobby.
In the lobby.
Okay.
If you want
Can
some,
I
you
peek
can.
out, see what's in this room now?
Yeah, it's the hourglass. It's still there
Alright.
as an hourglass.
Is it still?
It is flowing.
Sorry, I missed 2 episodes. Is it still stuck? Has it started moving again?
It has started moving again.
How long does it seem like? How different is it? I guess would be from when we were last seeing it move.
It's the same amount of sand that it had when it was frozen. It's just now moving, and it doesn't. It's doing the thing where it's constantly pouring, but it doesn't seem to be emptying at a normal pace.
Okay, cool. Just confirming that it's not like go back up this instant.
No.
This muffin thing is destroying the world.
I have given Hope, because she asked, a piece of the muffin.
You have a piece of muffin, Hope.
And then I eat the rest very quickly because people are trying to steal my
Before
muffin.
anybody else asks.
Like a chipmunk, just.
Like a goddamn chipmunk.
I hope you have a piece of muffin.
If you've ever fed a muffin to a wood chipper, and I know that I'm probably the only one here that has.
Have you
Wait a minute,
actually?
You've actually put a muffin through a wood chipper?
Yeah,
Fuck the game. I want to hear this story. No, I'm
Oh
kidding.
boy.
it's very simple.
can tell
Of
me
we
that.
were doing outdoor work, and my mom had packed me a bran muffin for lunch, and it was bran muffins are the worst.
Okay.
So I
yep,
threw it
yep.
in the
No
wood
explanation. All you needed to say was bran muffin.
Yeah,
Okay. Fair enough.
right.
So, good Fran. As the group are sort of muddling around in the lobby right at the moment, you looking through this other person's eyes, you see them come down out of this tower, stop and talk with someone who looks an older human, wearing sort of a long leather trench coat. They have some very quick back and forth conversation before he immediately sort of steps off and heads out to meet up with another group of individuals. These individuals are harder to see details of. The details are seemingly constantly shifting in and out. Faces are changing and races are changing and various other structures of them are changing sort of in and out. You're seeing now this potential future isn't necessarily as solid as it might be otherwise. Minar doesn't seem to be realizing any of this. And you
Right.
still haven't heard a first name. It seems that at the very least, the conversation that you had, whoever was on the other end of that pearl, refers to him by his last name. You do know that is his last name, not his first name.
Okay. Now, is the sort of temporal flux or whatever we would call it seeming to get more extreme as time goes on?
It's fairly like standard. Like as he looks around and as his vision comes off of one person, And then
Mhm.
while that vision is gone is when the change seems to happen. So you look back and
Okay.
you recognize that this is the same person, but they look completely different.
But they've shifted, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You're not
This
certain,
is-
you're going to be able to constantly sort of see through this eye, and again, in a sort of a linear one-to-one fashion. You're not certain how much useful
Right.
information you're going to get out of it, though.
Okay. He's gonna blink back. This is very odd.
So same.
And in your mind, Eshkil recognized the face as Fikir. So that face of you was the face of Fikir.
That's interesting. All right. Well,
What?
I had a vision of the future because I'm apparently linked to someone there who also shares my last name, it seems, which draw what conclusions you will from that, who is wearing the face of my second incarnation.
Hang on a minute. You have a last name.
Yes. Have you
Yes.
not? I
No,
believe it's
you
been
never-
mentioned at
you
least
never said
once.
this At all, I think. Maybe? Possibly you might have.
I think when he first introduced himself, and that was
Oh,
it.
that's right. That was when we were not worried about your name because we figured you'd leave. Okay, got it.
Wow.
Lulu has a question.
Yes.
Lulu, go right ahead.
You get your mic cut out. What was that?
What are last names? Are they like the name you had before you had this name? Like
They're
Family
that are-
family names.
No, tradition. Many cultures, yes, an entire family will share a common name to sort of signify that they're all members of the same family, so that when they introduce themselves, they're not like, "Oh, which Gwynferon are you?" Out of the 12 other Gwynferons that I know, Gwynferon is a very common name. I don't know that any of you are aware of that, but
So
Non-halflings are really uncreative with coming up with their names. So that way, when you don't say, hey, Mary, in the middle of the street and like 7 people turn around, you have a full name to give.
So they're individualized identifiers. So our hope is different from someone else's hope.
to an
On paper.
extent, yes, that's how some of them are used. Other people just use
So
them to show off how
If
rich
they're
they are.
family names, does that mean that, to use the same example, Hope would be Hope Gastron?
No!
And I'm going to spontaneously manifest my halo because I'm proud of that one.
A halo, a radiantly glowing halo appears over Lulu's head.
God! What?
No.
No.
I don't think
No.
not quite how it works.
not
But-
unless Hope chose to affiliate her primary identity with the fact that she's in a group named,
Okay.
which I don't think Hope is inclined to do. No.
I mean, knowing most bullshit tall person societies, it would be the last name would be something related to this dick bag and stabbed Corbin, likely not to do damage, just likely.
Like stabbing.
Yeah, that's quite possible, but she's going to be known as Hope Gastron from this point forward.
No, we are not.
Hey!
I will not respond to that name.
something
please.
that you supremely civilized folk might also not know as well is that among the tribes, a surname is not just a note of family, it is also a note of deed or individual trait. I'm not called Stormcaller. My
Reputation.
father was Stormcaller.
Oh, that makes more sense.
What she said.
As you're having this conversation, a chunk of
Oh.
sand just drops down into
Nope,
the bottom of
let's
the hourglass.
No.
It doesn't seem to have affected the overall volume of sand. It's just for whatever reason, a lot of it chunked together and fell down.
The hourglass is there to scare us into action. Let's go, guys.
No.
Step
I don't know,
outside.
I think we
Honestly.
need to explore this a little more. No.
And do what with that information, Harry? You're just gonna stare at it and then eat a muffin?
No, make you uncomfortable.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Let's go.
Harry's going to buy you a set of monogrammed luggage, Hope.
No,
I'm going to need
going
that
to
one
find
explained to me, Gwynferon.
magical monogrammed luggage because I'm good at that. Holds up the sheets. Monogrammed bag of holding.
I'm going to need that one explained to me, Gwynferon.
Which one? I realize I've kind of dumped a crap ton of information on all of you.
All of it. I am incredibly curious.
All right, so
Sleep and this.
We can explain it later while we're resting. Come on, let's go.
all right,
Push me
yes.
closer.
You
Actively.
all leave the tower.
Sweet.
Does anyone have a castle spell left?
I do not.
Gwynfron, you do have a ribbon that you need to deliver.
Yes, and yes, I do have. I can make us housing for the evening if we need.
Okay.
But I need to go see. I need to go see Galadir first.
Who's gonna run off? Raise your hands if you're gonna run off when we go see Galadir. Just so we can split up now. Do you want to
Just
take your
hope.
girlfriend into not Galadir? Points at Corbin.
Yeah, I don't really have any interest in the wizardy stuff. And you'll all share later. But I was going to stop by the Adventurers Guild and see some stuff.
All right, I guess we can see you guys at the manor later.
All right.
All right.
I'm assuming we'll be
Excellent.
setting it up. Do we want to determine where we're going to set the manor up so that those who are not going with the wizard who has the spell can know where to go?
I mean, it's Gwyn's manor, so it'll be large and tall and ostentatious.
No, it'll be a door floating in the middle of the air.
Sure, that too.
But
But it'll be a
I'll
large
cast it just. I'll cast it just outside the north gate, assuming
Okay.
Galadir. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going with, but I reserve the right to leave at any particular moment.
We know.
As is your oeuvre.
Yes.
You needed monogrammed explain, but not oeuvre.
She's not going to she knows that word.
I didn't need
not-
monogrammed
No,
explain.
no. Gashgar.
Gashgar.
Oh, yeah.
She's not going to explain why she knows that one.
Some people hung out with bards at one point.
Context clues for fancy people words. The context clues for last name are like childhood name.
No, I really like that. That was it your old name?
You're like the one that you had just before this one?
Is Lavis my last name?
No, because that's a fake made up name that Gwynferon invented.
I like that the person named Harry was talking about uncreative names.
Harry, that was because Harry just wanted to mock the tall people. Harry actually has a last name,
Yeah,
and Harry's full name is not Harry.
it's true. It's almost like
I feel
Harry's
like you
full
actually
name.
introduced yourself with your full name at one point.
I think so. Maybe
For a split second, but then I think you said if you call me anything but Harry.
something like that.
Yep.
It's almost as if
Does
I
not
have
take
Harry's
well
full
to
name
Ha-
in front of me.
It does not take well to Harriet. No.
Anyways,
Anyway, to Galadir.
so two of you split off. The rest of you head out to towards the northern side of the city, out through the northern gate. Galadir's tower still stands where it has been standing for the past little while.
Gwyn doesn't even hesitate at this point. He just barges right the fuck in.
You go in. There is one Galadir in the main lobby. tending to the large metal tubes, of which there are 2 that are currently open, with nothing inside. The rest still have other Galadiers, but there are 2 that are open with nothing inside.
Which one of you wants this? Holds up the ribbon.
What's that?
The Galadier looks at it.
Not talking to you, Harry.
Oh, you should probably take that to the lab. That's pointing up.
All right. Thank you. And heads up the stairs.
You head up the stairs. You pass the library where there's another Galadier reading. You end up in the lab where there are 2 Galadiers conversing on the subject. You walk into the room. They immediately sort of stop and turn and look in unison.
I have one of your memories.
What the rightmost Galadier holds out his hand.
There we are. And after that, I've got enough money. I need a spell.
All right. He takes it, thinks for a second. The ribbon disintegrates. That hurt.
Yeah.
A lot.
You think?
The memory or the receiving of?
No, the memory of the pain that I endured.
Yes.
Don't-
Yes.
Please refrain from doing that in the future.
We told you could leave if you wanted.
Yes. Could leave. And he sort of lets the sentence end there.
Anyway.
Not your babysitters.
More,
you, dude.
more referring to the dragging me into situations that I'm going to find infinitely interesting and be unable to remove myself from. Specifically via use of a gate spell.
You
Yes, no,
are
that's fair.
perfectly capable of your own agency. You could have left. You were not unable to.
Regardless.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
Suddenly, I just turned into a fire genasi for a second. I don't understand.
Gwyn throws a
You're-
bucket
you're-
of water so that Harry returns to halfling size.
You're right, Harry. And Harry, you vanish. You're standing on an island in the middle of water with another Galadier. You can leave at any time.
It's a muffin.
Sorry, I'm chewing on a muffin. And we've killed Jeremy.
Gonna choke on it.
Jeremy's just chewing as fast as he can, and
No.
it always takes longer when you have to chew faster.
And when people are watching, yes.
For the record, he pauses and finishes the muffin bite. in his dinner mouth. You're right. I can leave at any time, and I start stabbing him in the knee. Bring me back. Bring me back.
He vanishes.
Well, this is my life now.
So I live here now.
So
We have
I notice Harry disappear, I assume.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you all do.
Through the telepathic wand. Hey Harry, what's going on?
Does it extend to wherever I am?
Let's see. What's the distance on
It
telepathic
doesn't
ground?
have a listed distance from my recollection.
I believe once it's formed, it's so long as you're on the same plane of existence.
What if I'm on another
Oh,
plane of existence?
Fair enough. I don't know
Right.
if this tower is technically the same plane of existence, but I'm
Yeah.
gonna try.
The tower is on the same plane of existence as you got, like is on the material plane. Harry's not on the material plane anymore, so
Oh.
nothing
Mhm.
happens.
Okay.
Go.
Galadier pulls out a pocket watch. That's probably enough. And Harry, you blink back to the tower.
Oh well, that's gonna be embarrassing for everybody else because she has now consigned herself to the life on a beach by herself. and has dressed accordingly.
So a naked Harry appears, reclining on the floor.
You're gonna bring my stuff back too, right? Is the first thing he says.
That depends. And he looks over at Gwynfron. So what spell were you looking for?
Clone.
Easy enough.
Why do you get to do that? I mean, obviously I can't read, so I can't do it anyway. But why do you get to just be like, I have money, more magic? And I have to, like, believe in myself.
Yes, it is much easier for a millennial to become a wizard than a cleric. Thank you for pointing that out.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh my god!
I'm tapping out.
Lulu's just looking expectantly because she considers this a serious and legitimate question.
Yeah.
So she has a halo above her head right now, so she's perfect.
Oh my god.
Well, you see that wizards tend to draw power from a different source. So as long as you have the necessary knowledge to do so, you can do so. And since we don't have to petition a being on a higher plane of existence or anything, or establish any particular sense of philosophy in order to manifest our powers, it's a lot more easily transferable from one individual to another as needed.
But I thought cleric spells could go in this. How does that work? Points to
That is to an extent, that spell that is stored in your hand would draw on your being to activate, but the actual casting thereof is done by someone who already possesses the ability to do it.
Well, I can't read anyway, so it's hard to switch.
Valid point.
Galadier holds up a book. 300 platinum is what I paid for it.
$350.
Sure. He hands you a book.
Might as well have some return on investment.
He says, as if
given how many of his clones have died, I feel like he does.
I was like, considering how many clones he has.
And those are clones, not simulacrums. He has plenty of clones and simulacrums.
But yes, the book is a detailed instructions on how to perform the clone spell. So you have,
sweet.
You can spend some time copying that down, and you are less 350 platinum, and you have access to the clone spell now.
Cool.
Is there anything else I can do for you?
Well, you have the information that we gained on that last part of the tower, and I know not to get you into unpleasant circumstances anymore without asking or arranging ahead of time. So,
but we did. We asked the second time. We asked. The first one told us to do it again.
Yes.
Yes.
The second time.
But I think unless you need any further information other than what's contained in the memory fiber.
Nope.
Well, you know where to find us if you do.
Are all conversations between wizards this awkward?
Both
Awkward.
Galladiers.
Give Harry her clothes back now.
Both Galladiers just stare at you.
I'll take that as a yes.
One of them nods at a chest that has appeared next to the exit. Harry's stuff is in there.
Cool.
Can I see if it's a mimic?
Harry would be more excited if it was a
Make
mimic
a
than if it was
perception
her
check.
clothes.
It's a mimic that Harry has to fight naked to get her clothes back.
Okay, so admittedly, that would just encourage her. But,
Pretty much.
well, no.
You're-
Never mind.
You're pretty certain it's a mimic.
Okay. Go for it, Harry.
Walks over, goes to open the chest.
It opens up your gears
Yeah.
inside.
Damn it! Really wanted to fucking pull a naked Midian on this minute.
If we're going to have naked fights, we should do it in the town center brawl square thing. We capture some low power monster, bring it there, and do it that way.
I get dressed and then, all right, where are we going?
I'll set up our lodgings for the evening, and then it's up to the rest of you, I suppose.
You head out. Meanwhile, Hope and Corbin, where'd you go?
Wanted to go to the Adventurers Guild to check.
Yeah. How much time has passed since we've been in the tower?
Doesn't look like very much. Not even a day outside the tower.
And
Okay.
we had a couple days before that because you had sent, and it would take a week for your parents to get there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I just wanted to check to see if anybody, because I dropped the thing or dropped off the payments yesterday or the day before. Or was it this morning?
Earlier this morning.
Yeah, earlier this morning. I'll see if he's gotten any hits, and if he hasn't, then yeah, no, I got a new spell I want to try, and so
Right, yeah, so you guys head back to the Adventurers Guild. You check in with the barkeep. Yes, a group has accepted the job for, and will be around when they arrive.
okay. Have I heard of them before?
Make a history check with advantage. This is sort of a social roll.
Advantage +1. 20.
Yeah, no, this is one of. They're not the most well-known group, but they've been around for a while. They're called. It's a group that refer to themselves as the Shadows Aegis, and they're comprised primarily. They primarily do stealth missions.
Okay.
Sort of sneak in, steal things, kill people, get out. They're very good at not being seen or noticed, and so
That'll be appreciated.
yeah.
All right. Cool.
Their leader's a drow.
Nice. All right. Yeah. Now that I got their name, if anything happens to my parents, I know who to hunt. So, yeah, I'm gonna go back out. Did you want to go anywhere, or just not to Galladiers?
Mostly it was not to Galladiers. I was thinking of trying to go back to that weird library place to see, because last time there were books that appeared. Like there was a whole other floor that appeared when stuff came back, or was made.
Okay.
So I wanted to.
The Black Archives.
Okay. Is that on the, or do we have to pass through the
No, the
shop district or
I mean, yes, you would pass through the shop district.
Marketplace,
The
yeah.
the Adventurers Guild is sort of in the where all the markets are.
okay?
Um,
Because yeah, I just wanted to pick up.
but
one.
in relation to the gates, the Magister's home is on the southern end of the city and not the northern end. So
And just like passing through the city so far, there has not been anything that has changed or appeared different at all to me. I've been taking a look around. Just
No, you haven't noticed anything that's particularly different or off.
okay, cool.
What were you wanting to get, Corbin?
A saddle of the Cavalier.
You are not
If
able to find that. That seems to be a particularly rare item that would have to be ordered specifically.
Okay, I will head to somebody that would be able to procure that for me.
Yeah, you can get somebody that you can
Or
have
what-
somebody begin the process of having one made.
Yeah. Will it? But okay, because how long was it going to take for the armor for the just like the rough armor for the ox to be made?
Banding for the barding for the ox
Barding.
would just take like a day or two. Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
All right. Yeah.
As for a saddle of the Cavalier would probably take about 3 days to make and enchant.
Okay, then I will just buy a regular saddle for now.
You get a regular saddle
All right.
at market price, whatever the book
Yep.
says.
I will look that up and inform you.
Okay.
Yeah, their corps is not known for its mounted cavalry, so
Yeah.
that sort of thing would not be a common item.
Yeah, I'd heard of a magical saddle. I wanted that. So, but all right. All right. Yeah, let's go to the Black Archives. See if there's any new stuff to read about.
That takes a few hours for you guys to get to the Adventurers Guild, head to the markets, and do
Okay.
some stuff. So the rest of you, by this point, you will have already established your magnificent mansion and had conversations with Galadir, and at least one of you been gated back and forth from alternate planes. What's the rest of you doing?
Quinn's going to sit down, relax, and then like every 20 minutes or so, check in on future Minar.
Okay.
I'm
See if
taking a goddamn short
Interesting is happening.
because
Lulu is napping. Yashgar?
Experimenting with the new magic that she has recently awoken to. So casting spider climb and maneuvering up and down the walls, walking along the ceiling.
walls, literally.
All right. Harry?
Harry has laid out a particularly intricate variation of solitaire on the ground. That she is in the process of working through. Meanwhile, she's trying to, though she would absolutely never fucking admit this to any of them, trying to focus and see if that voice that she had heard was just the drug trip or what.
You still have that, by the way. You're still +1 until you take a short rest.
Give me an Arcana check.
Okay. I do not have advantage. 17.
Pretty
You're
good.
pretty certain that the voice you heard was a result of suggestion more than actual connection. This is where people were talking about how you'd hear voices, and so you heard a voice, not actually a voice.
All right. Cool. Yep. See, I just more evidence for that this is all bullshit. So randomly, out of the blue, in the middle of the card game, with no explanation offered after the fact, she just shouts out, "I told you, fuckers!"
Lulu does that thing that dogs do when you make a loud sound and they're sleeping, where they like leap up, then immediately goes back to being curled up on the floor wherever she's napping.
The startled awake reaction. Gwynfron, you're getting bits and pieces of this person's daily life. It seems like, from what you're able to gather, it seems like they are planning on some sort of job at the moment, and he was doing some amount of recon previously. He seems to be performing magic via methodology of shooting things, which is interesting and odd to you.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch a little more on that.
You sort of witness him engraving bullets with magic and then firing them later on to sort of cast spells, as opposed to traditional material components and somatic components of casting.
This is wildly inefficient, but why is he doing this?
There seems to be some sort of implication that this individual thinks it's cool.
I shudder for the future.
For Eshkill, that makes sense of Fakir.
Right.
The next time you open up to the real world, Gashkar is standing like a couple feet in front of you, upside down on the ceiling, just kind of looking at you. Considering how tall she is, her face is probably level with your face.
Right. All right. I'm a little distracted by this whole persistent connection.
Spider-Man.
There's this person in the future, and they're doing magic, but they're doing it unnecessarily. They're doing it in an unnecessarily complicated and limiting fashion for absolutely no applicable reason that I can divine.
I mean, how are they doing their magic?
Does Gwyn know what a gun is?
Yes.
Okay.
Gashkar doesn't, but Gwyn does.
Yeah.
There are these weapons that function on basically chemical reaction. It's
simple terms related to other weapons.
Super small catapult that you can hold in your hand that really fucking hurts. Kind of like shooting an arrow minus the shaft, just the head.
So crossbow.
You're welcome, Jeremy.
Oh, that wasn't me. That was Harry.
Okay.
Me rolls his eyes. Harry laughs her ass off.
So crossbow.
Yes. Using different end and a chemical reaction instead of a bowstring. Anyway.
Advanced crossbow.
He's using one of these. Sure. Yes. Right. Exactly. Like if you took a crossbow and tried to get an alchemist to make it rather than a Fletcher or a bowyer.
Interesting. All right. Continue.
Yeah. Anyway, yes, he's coupled one of these weapons with a level of arcane expertise, but which means he has to have the weapon in order to cast the spells, which seems like wildly inflexible and very self-limiting. And instead of actually just saying the words and using the gesture, instead of just casting the spell, he imbues the weapon with the spell and then uses the weapon to cast the spell, which takes an extraordinarily long time and is, yeah.
So I can see a number of reasons why this might be particularly useful.
I mean, I'm assuming that I have simply just not delved deep enough into this, and hopefully by one of the gods' guidance, there is a level of advantage to doing it this way, but it's beyond me.
You said it's like a crossbow that hurts a lot, but it's kind of magic-y and stuff, right?
Yes.
Wouldn't that... Because I'll flip Dragon's Trunk to crossbow form. I can't do this. Are there targets around or no?
Yes, there are 1, 2, 3.
I'm asking Jack about the physical space.
No, there are not really targets around, but there is plenty. There is a reasonable amount of furniture.
Yeah. So Lulu will just sort of casually shoot Dragon's Tongue at like a couch pillow. I can't do this and this, and there's a ray of sickness going at a different couch pillow at the same time,
vomit.
or that quickly. But if they're doing this both things at once, that hurts more.
It might lack in perhaps some of the utilitarian efficiency of your magic, but I think from a combat perspective, it might be a bit more effective.
Potentially, yes, I suppose.
It's a pointy delivery of a touch spell system.
It's not elegant.
Wow.
I'm not elegant, Gwynferon.
Yes, but you're not trying to do the same. I have a level of professional pride, and I realize this is subjective, but this offends me.
So does it hurt because someone's doing
I don't expect it to.
Or does it hurt because they're doing it differently with your face? Is your reputation being besmirched and your ego of how you would go about it?
I feel like
both yes and no to both of those.
The look on Gwyn's face told me that he hadn't considered that fact before, and he's even angrier now.
You're not wrong.
I mean,
we have good fun here, as she says, as she's hanging upside down with her hair kind of like trailing below her, probably reaching to about Gwyn's knees. She got pretty long hair, and it's in braids.
Right. He'll sort of reach out and just slightly adjust one of them. I'm being absurd, but I've had a very long day. I'm chalking it up to that.
When do you think the others are gonna get here?
Speaking of,
he pulls out the cube. I've got one charge left. Which one of them do you want?
Oh no!
I want them to walk in the door.
Yes.
Can you do your future prediction thing and figure out when they're gonna walk in the door? Because I want there to be something by the door.
I was gonna say you might not want to do that because, they've been in our presence for a decent amount of time and haven't had any alone time. So I'm assuming there's a marathon fucking session going on. But on second thought, do it.
that would the comedic potential is not lost on me,
right?
But I was going to say I would only be allowed to grab one of them, but now I'm thinking
even better.
Gwyn,
think of the confusion.
Gwyn, if someone did that to one of us, I would break
one of us would murder them, and the other one would laugh and watch and point. Yes.
Think of the confusion and the momentary moment before they realized what was going on.
Never mind. I had a thing in mind, but this has gone further than I am comfortable with. I'm going upstairs.
Meanwhile, Hope and Corbin, you arrive at the door, at the massive wooden door to the Magister's home.
It's very fancy. Hello? We need to get into the Black Archives.
Yeah, you go through. You've done this before, so you go through the motions to get into the Black Archives. You arrive. Jack is sitting there at his desk in his usual "I'm just a dead skeleton" pose.
I'm gonna try. Wait.
Skeleton Jack.
I'm doing this telepathically. So I think, what if we just try to sneak past him? Like, what would happen?
Probably wouldn't work because I'm still in clunk 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 plate.
And in response to the jostling of Corbin's plate mail, the jaw.
Damn it.
And Jack sort of sits up. Oh, hello there. Welcome to the Black Archives.
You have a good nap?
Always do. How might I assist you?
Like, just sort of conk out. I'm just real curious because, like, we've talked to a sloth now and, like, some lizard people at the bottom of the ocean. Do you, like, sense things when you're conked out like that?
There is no better rest than when one is dead. And I have been dead for a long time.
Creepy. Okay. We were wondering.
You're one to talk, huh?
Tell that to my ghost rogue. Like, I'm sure a skeleton gets plenty of sleep, but a ghost, I don't think so.
Yeah. We're wondering, we wanted to get some information on what the places that were just made, that just got created.
There have been some very recent additions to the archives, though not as many as one might expect. Was there something in particular you were looking for?
Just anything, any mentions of a weird silver oil stuff that turns other things into silvery oil metal.
I am at turns intimately familiar with every book in the archive, and no such a thing has not been written of.
I would like to insight check the skeleton.
Sure.
Okay. That is not the weirdest sentence I have
His
uttered.
face looks shifty.
Yeah.
He smiles.
Very high cheekbones.
Yeah, he smiles so
17.
much.
It is functionally impossible to read Jack.
Okay.
He has the face of an unmoving skeleton.
Well, it's
All
not
right.
even just that. You get the feeling that you could read a skeleton, like just from the various interactions you've had with undead things. For whatever reason, Jack in particular is completely unreadable.
You're disturbing. Okay.
Thank you.
Good. That's probably good. Well, what was just created? Are they countries? Do they have names? What are they?
We have an expanded map, though it has not been fully expanded to include country names. It seems that we have yet to have any erstwhile explorers go map-making in the far-off lands that have joined our library. There are places of mystery now in the world. Not that there weren't any
Okay.
before, but there are more now.
All right.
The corners of the map are being unfilled.
Yes.
You have to go climb a tower. We've expanded it, but now you have to go climb a tower if you want the full detail of the map and all of the things inside of it.
But every time we climb a tower, we end up making more.
Different tower. That's the central tower. You need to go climb the auxiliary towers.
We have to synchronize and then make a leap of faith into a hay bale.
Yes, that.
From the very
So, what about as I try and because I don't have any of my notes because I am on a different computer right now. Was the place where Hope's family is possibly from, or like descended from?
Oh,
Or, like, elves
Tirtar
on-
Narlin is the place you're
Tyr-
thinking of.
no.
No.
It's right next door. It's the Umbral Forest.
The Umbral Forest.
The Umbral Forest.
It's the Umbral Forest. Okay.
Yeah.
What about? Do you have books on people in the Umbral Forest?
Oh, yes. We have several sections of literature regarding the Umbral Forest and its inhabitants. Is there something in particular you were looking for?
75 volumes detailing in depth how each of them were slaughtered.
There have been a number. There have been a number of massacres within the Umbral Forest. Some by the elves, some by outsiders.
What? Okay.
Sorry, don't mind me. I occasionally answer questions that weren't asked.
Oh, okay. I was wondering if you had like history and like names of people. I don't know.
We
Like
have
a
we
census?
have the histories. We have the histories of 17 of the 25 royal families of the Umbral Forest. The rest having murdered anybody who attempted to write any sort of biography. We have details of the murders, though, if that would be something
Why
you'd be
have
interested
they
in.
murdered people?
The royal after the
Forestancestry.com.
after
That's what you're looking
after the 17th ruler of the Umbral Forest was deposed in a violent coup, the remaining royal families decided that having people detail their life's work and histories was probably less advantageous than it had been previously, and as such began systematically slaughtering any who dared attempt to write such a biography.
Now, was that the 17th ruler was deposed by a violent coup, or was that the 17th ruler to be disposed by a violent coup?
The 17th ruler to be deposed by a violent coup. Jack answers to no one apparently.
I like the idea that Jack there is a multiverse around Jack and just multiple people in different realities asking questions.
Well, yeah,
He's
everyone who enters
the
it get different.
siblings from Bioshock Infinite.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yes.
Okay, that's a lot of okay. I have no idea where they were from or anything. That's
You know that the information you were given was that if you were interested in looking for your parentage, the Umbral Forest would be the place to look.
yep. I have no idea how to go about doing that though.
He's a
That's where
skeleton
Gwyn's
made
from.
of magic. Ask him, do you have any books about my parents?
That's true. Maybe it would work. Do you have any books about my parents?
Do you know who your parents are?
No.
Then
I mean, at least
possibly.
you asked.
Possibly.
It is
Okay.
very possibly that I have books
Do
about your
you
parents.
have any idea who they are?
Nope.
Because
no.
I think that's the shortest answer I've
Every
ever
Jack
heard.
in every reality. Nope.
Alright.
Ask a direct question, get a direct answer.
And Hope is just feeding off of the realities around Jack and answering and asking imagined versions of the other party members.
I'm moderately sure this is the silliest game session we've ever had, and I approve of any game. And I approve.
Well, there was this one time where two Irish men rode down a street playing Ave Maria on ice cream loudspeakers.
Not sillier.
Jack says again to nobody.
What are Irish?
So Hope's parents. That's narrowing.
What's ice cream? What's a van? Who's Maria?
It would take far too long to explain any of those questions, he says again.
Ascor was like, I only asked one question.
Good. Do you have any more questions, or I'm backing away now?
Back away slowly.
Have there been any expansions on books about anything relating to Coltier?
I want the Coltier expansion pack.
Yeah, DLC.
There are a few more books related to Coltier, but none of the existing books have expanded, no.
Okay. Yeah.
About the gods? This is weird.
Yeah. No, I'll take a look and see if there's. I want to look to see if there's any new mentions in the books about the spear.
Certainly.
Just any stories.
Follow me. He'll
right.
stand up and walk up the stairs.
He's just like, thank God, finally something I can actually show you a book about.
All right.
So he heads upstairs. He heads to the second floor of the library, finds a random stack, and once again reaches out, grabs a book, pulls it, the bookshelf slides away. You step through, the bookshelf closes behind you, and Jack is already on the inside.
I want to say I've seen weirder stuff, but you're gonna have to up your game.
What
I've seen
game?
this too often. You, Jack.
Oh, I don't play games. I simply provide information. Anyways, so looking for new additions to the library, and he'll sort of reach over and indicate the sort of the lower shelf in the back of this section. There are exactly 5 new books on that shelf, in order.
Okay.
I'm looking at those.
Yep.
What
Can I
is
take a look at
title?
those?
Sure. What languages did the two of you speak?
I speak. Let me check real quick. Common, Dwarvish, Orcish, and Infernal.
Common, Celestial, Thieves can't.
All right.
They can't what?
All 5 of these books are written in a language that neither of you understand. It is, however, the same language.
Jack, what language is this?
Draconic.
Fuck.
Wait! I can turn into a dragon.
Turning in,
I don't think that impossible.
turning into a dragon will not help you read Draconic any better.
Damn it. Okay.
Are you absolutely sure of that?
I disagree.
Yes, because your mental, when you transform from one state to another, your mental faculties do not change. Therefore, your knowledge of languages does not
so
change
don't
with
turn
it.
into a dragon, turn into something that has the ability to read all languages, like the seraph ones.
Yes, if
You
you
didn't give
have
me
the
time to
magical
explain
ability.
why I disagree. Because when you change into a dragon, you can pick up the book in your claws and you can fly to the nearest dragon and say, "Hey, bro, can you read this for me?"
Also, the barbarian already reads Draconic.
I would
Yep.
like to use one of my 2 shape changes to briefly change into a solar because they speak all languages.
They do.
I have true sight.
They do.
Magical.
Would I have that when I am in that form?
Let me take a look
But
at.
I know.
Let me take a look at the solar real quick.
Before I
You would
use
you would know before you changed. Hang on, let me take a look at the solar real
Okay.
quick.
I think the only thing you don't get is legendary actions if they have
Yep.
any.
And spell casting.
Jack
Your-
has skin with true sight.
But it's languages all, telepathy 120.
Jack has skin when you get true sight.
Oh god.
No muscle tissue, just
Yeah,
skin.
just skin.
Thank you for that mental image.
You're welcome.
Mm.
Not eyeballs either, just saying.
You can only speak with the creature you normally speak. You can't use any special senses you have unless your new form has that sense. That's not what this is.
But you do
Ready for
gain-
You retain all skills, saving throws, proficiency in addition to gaining those of the creature. If the creature has the same proficiency as you and was is higher than yours, use the creature's bonus. You can't use any legendary actions on your forms. Retain your alignment and intelligence. Yeah, you gain their skill and saving throw proficiencies. Understanding that language is also a proficiency. It is not. It is a language proficiency though, not a skill or saving throw. So you don't gain its language proficiencies. So you can speak. You can telepathically speak as a Solar, but you do not
Yes.
gain knowledge of all language.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah.
Solars know all the languages by virtue of being from a god.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not an innate. It's not an innate part of their physicality. Their ability to speak
Okay.
telepathy, you would gain. Their ability to understand all languages, you would not.
Yep.
So, and you would know that prior to using the shape change.
Okay.
So, yeah, you don't. Language proficiencies are not something that gets translated when you polymorph,
Okay.
because that's a thing that's a
Valid
mental
point.
thing.
Yep. Well, damn it. Alright.
You do, however, know people who speak Draconic. You know 2 people, I think, that speak Draconic.
Yes, but there's a problem with that. Let me explain this. That would require Hope to trust anybody.
That's fair.
Well, it's my question.
Yes, Corbin, you do know that Gashkar speaks and reads Draconic.
Yeah,
She reads Draconic even though she doesn't read Common.
I have no way to communicate to you guys right now, and
No, we have telepathy still.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Mhm.
Hey, Gashkar.
Do I hear that when I'm in the mansion?
No, because both of
Oh,
you are
we're on
in.
another plane.
Both of you are on different planes of existence right now.
This is so much. All right.
You'd have to go to the mansion to talk.
Yeah.
Can't hear
Alright.
you.
Well. All right. Can you save these? We'll be back. Try to
Certainly.
be back later.
Certainly.
See if we can find somebody that can read these for me.
Absolutely.
Anything about the scales of fate?
No more than what you've already read.
Okay.
Who's the author of these books?
These books. He reaches over, grabs them, opens it up, looks through. As he begins to read the book.
Show off.
Can you just tell us what it says?
Certainly. I said you knew several people that could read Draconic.
Yeah.
One of them was in front of you.
He's a talking skull. It's weird.
He'll read through
Okay.
and explain that these are books written by a dragon named Zerathina, or Zero for short, who was talking mostly about they're talking mostly about, and he'll explain that there are several volumes of these related to each of the gods, talking about the gods' sort of direct creation of items and of sort of direct interventions of the worlds, and pondering it's sort of a theological thesis on whether or not the world would be better off if they were sort of locked away, sort of locked away from interacting with the world, and how one might go about doing that. It doesn't seem to have a solution or any sort of solid basis in how to do that. But it's mostly a lot of theorizing and discourse on each of the individual gods and what one might do to prevent them from meddling in the world in ways that are catastrophic.
I see Graz's philosophy has spread far in this realm.
It's not
At least to one dragon it has.
It is certainly not an uncommon thought process of the gods sure like to fuck people over, don't they?
How can we stop that?
Does it have any concrete sort of ideas or like talking points?
So it's basically just all right.
Mostly the problem that the author seems to continually run into in these sort of theses is the fact that, in their estimation, it would either require some sort of infinite amount of arcane energy or the power of the gods themselves to prevent the gods from interfacing with the world.
Got it. Does this library have anything about the god emperor of Taram?
Jack tilts his head. No.
Where did Gwyn find out that information he had about him?
From the person that grabbed him by the face and kissed him. You were there.
Okay. That's... Huh.
From Ash kills X.
Yep. Okay.
Do any of these books on culture describe the animal weapon, just how it appears? Or...
No, it's referenced, but it's not ever described.
Okay.
It's sort of referenced in as a talking point of like, look, they made these things that adventurers will literally go to war over. That's not a good thing, no matter how powerful or shiny it is.
What does it have? Does the library have anything about the beacon and the...
No.
No.
These warriors who by themselves have the power to level armies and raise cities will band together to find these objects and add them to their collection. Is this a good thing? No.
Okay. Hmm.
All right. I'm good.
This is a huge library.
It is. Thank you for noticing.
What's your favorite book in here?
That would be like asking a parent which one is their favorite child. I love them all equally.
So do you want to leave the
Most
archive first and
parents
And
know.
like all parents,
so they're
that's a
not
lie.
there? So that they're not.
Sorry, what was that? There were jokes being made. I missed it.
So do you want to leave the black archive so you can answer honestly?
Oh no, I'm quite incapable of leaving the Black Archives. It is tied to me as much as I am tied to it.
Okay.
For the record, who's joking?
Hmm.
Holidays, folks. They make everyone come closer together in their mutual frustration at the favorite child.
I love both of my kids equally. So no.
So we have 2 more of those levels to go up. Is there anything about what was it? It was a Void Lord. Is that what it's called?
Do you have anything on Void Lords?
Anything about alternate dimensions or realities?
We do
spheres?
have some writings on the workings of extraplanar entities such as Void Lords.
Can we see those?
Certainly. And he will go and open up the shelf, lead you out to his other self, who will then lead you down, actually, back to the first floor, into over towards his desk, where he will sort of use his cane to depress a tile in the floor, which then causes his desk to shift and slide forward, revealing
See,
another
these look
set
like
of
signature
stairs.
books, which seems like they're slightly cooler, and also that you like them better. So I'm gonna just leave that there. Just leave that observation just lying on the floor behind me.
Mostly the design of the library is arbitrary in that it changes every time someone comes here, as he walks down the stairs.
All right.
He's deceiving himself.
If only that were possible. He says again to no one.
Following.
Yeah, so he leads you down to very dimly lit stacks of books, where he will indicate a sort of a small bookshelf. That's the only bookshelf you've ever seen that has a door that has like a grate on it that is currently locked and chained in place. He'll reach out with his cane, tap the lock, which will then unlock itself, and the chains will fall away as he pulls the grate open.
How many other books are around this area, and are any of the rest of them chained or otherwise locked off?
Like, the hallway is made of bookshelves that are lined with books. This is sort of the bookshelf at the end of the hallway, and it is the only one. It is the only bookshelf that is locked off.
Okay, all right. I'm looking.
These are books related to the Void Lords and other extraplanar entities, and they are also the only books in this library that I cannot read. He says, pulling one out and handing it to you.
Why can't you read them?
They are written in a language that I do not know or am incapable of understanding.
I look down at the book cautiously.
Has anybody else ever tried to read one of these?
No.
Pretty sure my brain's gonna explode if I try and read this, right?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I have no brain for which to explode. When I read them, they simply move across the page at an infuriating pace and refuse to be translated.
somewhere, without even knowing why, Harry suddenly desperately wants to read books. Desperately, passionately wants to read books.
Well, good thing we're at Gwen's place where there are presumably
Those
endless.
are dull, boring, non-brain exploding books. I don't even know why.
You've never read any of my books. You don't know that.
Has your brain exploded?
My brain is better than your brain.
All right. I don't know.
I would like to offer a rebuttal. And
Is it I was gonna say, is it a knife? Is rebuttal a weapon?
Yes, it is. Right
Duly
in
noted.
the kneecap. Right to the side of the kneecap. Like right in right in the joint.
You know, I would agree with you, except you keep provoking her and causing her to do that. So the question then lies.
When your kneecap breaks, I can fix it now. Lesser Restoration does that kind of thing.
Oh, cool. That means I don't have to be
Excellent.
careful about it anymore.
You should still be careful about it. I can't cast that many spells.
Yeah.
Hope, you are holding
Yes.
a book of unknown arcane eldritch knowledge.
Yep.
The kind of knowledge that not even the keeper of the Black Archives can read, presumably which is why it's locked away.
Mm-hmm.
The book is in your hands.
It is. I'm looking at Corbin. Yes. If we know, why did that try to infect the tower? How many of them are there? How many of them are gonna be there when we go back in there? Also, demons. There's still that unsolved abomination thing that was,
Yeah.
yeah. I want you to hold this, and I'm gonna try and read the book.
I'll hold the book.
No, hold the beacon in case, I don't know, my head explodes or it tries to like suck, like a black hole through me. I don't know.
If it spontaneously created a black hole inside of you, him holding the
don't know.
beacon wouldn't solve that problem.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't, but I don't know.
Probably don't read about extraplanar entities while holding the thing that allows the world to get made. Yeah.
Yes, that feels like solid advice. I'm gonna leave this over here. You hold the book. I'm gonna start reading. I will place the beacon on the other end of the hallway.
Okay.
I will. All right.
You open the book. Make a wisdom saving throw.
Okay. I have
this is why-
advantage on that right now.
You also
No. Is this that book?
you also get a +1 because paladins.
Hey! Sweet. Natural 20.
You resist the pain that begins to build in your head as you attempt to comprehend the words on the pages. You can't comprehend the words on the pages. In fact, the words sort of squibble and wiggle around and move about as you look at them, like physically on the page, the words move around, rearranging themselves constantly in a completely unintelligible mess.
They're squiggling around.
Yes. There are also no pictures. It's quite boring.
I read books without pictures.
That was for me more than anything else.
Thanks. Close the book.
Right.
I will turn away from it.
Book is closed.
Gashkar,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm thinking of taking a short trip tomorrow.
To where in particular? As she's still upside down.
back to Penarth's Hoard. If we're going to be building this castle, extra funding wouldn't go amiss.
No, it wouldn't, but a few things. One, we didn't actually clear the Horde out of the things aside from Penarth that lived there, which means there will be an army of Penarth servants who are now lacking a master and then thus roaming free to massacre anything that they find in their way.
Mm-hmm.
Two, Penarth will eventually find her way back to the material plane. Whether that requires her to either fight everything in the elemental plane of water until it surrenders some way of escaping or not, and then finding us is a story for another time. But eventually Penarth will find her way back to her lair or die in the elemental plane of water, and I'm not exactly going to hedge my bets on the better end of that coin flip.
Right.
Three, we have a lot of money right now.
Yes, but I'm going to need a lot more.
As the wise one who doesn't understand the magic stuff. I have
Right.
a few additional comments.
All
You
right.
use that box a lot, and you told me that box can only be used so many times per however long.
Yeah. Yes.
It seems unlikely that she is dumb enough to fall for the exact same trick twice.
I mean, it's not really a falling for it per se, what we initially did. And I doubt that.
And the impulse to go back to the dragon's hoard of the most powerful dragon we have probably ever seen and get stuff from there. But if you want more wealth, aren't there easier dragons?
Yes, but I don't know exactly where they are, and I don't, and he pulls out a gold coin, have a key that will take me directly there, no problems.
I want to go there.
What if
I know bag and then immediately leaving.
Huh?
You just had like a mic spike, and all of that sentence flew by in about a half second.
Yeah.
Oh, he said, and I know you want to go there, Harry, but it's going to just be shoving money into a bag and then immediately leaving. There's not going to be a fight.
See, what we heard was, I'm going to have to bag a Lily then.
Yeah.
I didn't hear any of that.
Yes, that was exactly what I heard.
It's like,
I know that you say that, but there's a chance, and there's certainly a fuck ton more of a chance than there will be sitting here in this tower.
we are at least waiting until tomorrow?
Yes.
Oh, yes. No, this is not happening before tomorrow.
Winfron, make an intelligence saving throw.
Okay.
And we should probably not do it anyways because it's incredibly dangerous and we're all going to die.
Oh, that was a terrible roll.
But
Luck. Last luck point of the day. 25.
ooh, I thought of a better reason not to do it.
You, Gwynfron, you recall that there are ways to ward off a location from teleportation and gating. If the dragon is back, that likely has happened.
Oh, yeah.
That just depends on if the dragon is back or not.
Right.
If
Or
not back, those mountains are full of different kinds of dragons that feud with each other, and she did not make friends from what we know. So, oh wait, this is gonna make it worse.
you have literally spiked my interest twice as much as it
But
previously.
Gwen's the one with the gate spell, so he's the one I'm trying to persuade right now. There's a decent chance that if her forces aren't powerful enough to hold off the next big dragon over, that dragon was like, hey, extra gold mine now.
True.
I don't understand what you need more gold for. At this point,
Do I know who the next dragon over would be?
so that we can evict everyone? Because
No.
we're not in a Fable game.
Like, most likely a child of Penarth would be the closest dragon's lair.
That makes sense.
Hey, Gwen.
Yes.
Oh, that's a double danger, actually. If the children of Penarth are nearby and they
We need
find...
to go there.
If the children of Penarth are nearby and they find that Penarth has been removed from her lair and potentially killed, dragons aren't a very familial sort, but knowing that their sire was killed would likely incite at least a little bit of a grudge.
Literally making it worse.
A little bit of a grudge from a dragon is enough to raise countrysides.
Wasn't one of the main concerns we had after doing it the first time that she would know we did it and wreak vengeance upon the civilization I don't care about that much, scorching the earth to get back at us?
Look, the last time we were around a ginormous fucking dragon, I didn't get to fight it because magical asshat here decided to teleport it away.
Teleport us away. We were underwater.
Same thing. I was too angry to remember. Also, I wasn't there. So
okay.
What's your hit point? What's your hit point maximum, Harry?
About the many concerns, and then I realized that if we do this, Core might get scorched, and I'm cool with that. I hope no one gets hurt, but they would really be better off not living in civilization.
Sorry. Even with 19 ones in the damage roll, she could still one-shot you.
That makes sense. She's the size of a fucking mountain.
you're not making this better. Wisdom of 3.
It's
people.
+1. It's +2 right now.
Wisdom of 5.
There you
People. Not better.
Anyways, back in the Black Archives.
Yep.
Hope you have a closed book that has all manner of unknown secrets in it that you have just looked into and closed very quickly.
Yep. All right. Oh, that's a thing. Okay. Well, I guess we go find the rest of the group and see things, or I can turn into a dragon right now.
Please don't turn into a dragon in the middle of the library.
I won't turn into a dragon in the middle of the library. I'm containing myself.
Look, I'm going to fight a dragon one way or another. Either I'm going to fight the mountain dragon, or I'm going to fight the ace of our dragon.
Oh, no.
But did that stop the halfling? The halfling just said, if I can't find a dragon, I'll make one instead.
So,
But meanwhile, we should get going, and here, let me help you close that thing. I am going to try and steal this book by distraction.
Holy, even the wisdom 3 halfling thinks that's a bad
Give me a sleight of hand roll.
Okay.
I am bound to this library as much as this library is bound to me, is a sentence said to you not 15 minutes ago.
Yep. It's
been like an hour in game.
Secrets. 22.
So you try to slip the book away, and as you put it into your bag, thinking very successfully to yourself, he finishes closing the gate, and you notice that it's on the shelf on the other side of the gate.
Damn it.
As he puts the lock back on.
Well, lead the way out.
He doesn't seem to have noticed that you tried to steal it, for what it's
Okay.
worth.
Mm-hmm.
He leads you back up. Once again,
don't go. I put the cloak up.
he stands there. He's made the gesture back towards the hallway and steps past And as you put the cloak up, he sort of stops and then turns and looks at you and waits.
I kick Corbin. Go.
I was already going back to the door.
Corbin's walking away. He continues to look at you and wait.
Fucking.
I'm pretty sure I can hear that fucking shit.
Yeah. You all hear that over the like. Do you allow loans?
Certainly.
Library books?
Certainly.
How does one go about doing that? I'll put the cloak down.
One simply has to ask.
Okay. Can I have that book?
Certainly. He goes back over, unlocks it, pulls the book out, closes the grate, hands it to you.
Ask a direct question, get a direct answer.
Okay.
I believe there was a quote earlier this episode about Hope doesn't trust anyone enough to
No.
do things directly.
Yeah.
Can I also borrow a book about that Umbral Forest place?
Certainly. Which book would you like?
One with like a map in it.
There are several of those. Anything more specific?
With a map, like the most recent one, like a guidebook. I want a guidebook.
A tourist
Hope
guide to the
needs
Umbral Forest.
Appropriate age here.
The
here,
least murdery one.
Yeah.
We certainly have a tourist guide to the Umbral Forest. Follow me.
Thank you.
As he will lead you back up.
Even the
close-
tourist guide to the Umbral Forest is pretty damn murdery, though.
He hands you. He leads you up to his desk where he closes it. Then opens a drawer, pulls out a pamphlet, and hands it to you.
The pamphlet is titled "How Not to Get Murdered in the Umbral
No,
Forest."
the pamphlet's guide. The pamphlet says a tourist guide to the Umbral Forest. Do you open it up?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It has a map, and then a sidebar that just says, "Don't be a tourist in the Umbral Forest."
Close it. All right. Do you have one like on, like anyone who's gone there on like how to ask questions? Like
We have
what?
we have volumes 1 through 17 of the 25 biographies of the 25 rulers.
Listen, I just want to go and find out who my family is there, and I don't know how to do that. Do you have anything that would help?
We have a quite bloody history of the Umbral Forest.
Cool.
Was there ever an exodus of people from there
Good point.
recorded?
Define Exodus.
Living.
Living people.
Yeah, living people leaving because they don't want to live there anymore.
Living people certainly leave the
En
Umbral
masse.
Forest. Living
En
people,
masse, maybe.
the only thing that leaves the Umbral Forest en masse is corpses.
Living people leave the Umbral Forest. We know because we have an Umbral Forest elf in the party who's provably alive.
Right.
Living people leave the Umbral Forest. They don't leave en masse, though.
Okay. I'll just take the history. Thanks.
Certainly. These books will return to the library at the end of the week.
What day is it?
Friday.
At the end of a week. Like, so in 7 days.
Okay.
I was about to say.
Saturday evening.
Don't check anything out on a Saturday afternoon.
It's like those digital library book subscriptions that refresh at the end of the month. So you just get all of your books the last day of the month and then you have them for longer.
Yep.
How ours work. Okay. And then I leave, at least.
All right.
That's all I did. All right.
The two of you leave.
Yep.
The books remain in your possession as you leave. And theoretically will for 7 days.
Okay. All right. Go back, let them know, and then we'll see.
So, the two of you head up to where you know the mansion to be, and rejoin the rest of your party in the mansion.
Hey guys,
Alright.
guess what?
What?
Yeah? What?
We're gonna fight a dragon.
Why?
We're not going to. A little more money is always helpful, especially when we're trying to take on larger scale projects. and I had a plan that, gosh, yes, we do have a lot of money, but we could use a bit more, especially for certain aspects of the construction of this castle. We have a lot of money, but I still do not believe that we have enough for the whole thing there. And so I was planning on taking a quick pop back to Penarth's Hoard and filling up another bag.
What if she's
Given
dead?
that by my
Then we're gonna
by my
fight a fucking dragon.
Given that by my calculations, we are still in a window where it is less likely that she's back yet.
All right, counter proposal, because I went back in the tower and the ticking time bomb was still there. Which I've gone back in the tower before, and at that point it went all blank and creepy, with just
right.
Which makes me think that there's a time limit here, and I really want to finish something.
Okay,
before-
so the next thing we do in your mind is just go right back into the tower. That's what we're gonna. If you get your way, that's what we do tomorrow.
Not necessarily. That's what we came back to talk to you about.
Called it.
To keep going, to not keep diverting off into all sorts of random directions, because we still have to finish this, and every time, if we wait too long, I'm afraid that the infection's gonna spread again on this new level.
That's fair and valid. My plan takes about 2 minutes and a pair of spells on my part. And I'll take maybe one other person with me.
And about 15 minutes to fight the dragon.
We're not fighting a goddamn dragon this time, Harry.
If the dragon is there, we won't.
We
be
didn't
able to
fight a
get
dragon
there.
last time either.
That was a
Yes,
mountain, not a
because
dragon.
we're running out of because we are on a schedule.
I'm sorry, could you say that word again?
We are on a schedule.
The other
I
thing we were
just have to point out that despite there being no accent to this character, schedule.
We're on a schedule, you say.
The other thing we need to do is to find what? Because 3 of you now have animal weapon things, and Corbin wants one too. So we have to find that one.
I'd rather go back into the tower with one, yes. If we encounter anything like that again, as handy as this sword of decapitation has been, it will turn into a wet towel or something else could happen to it.
You do understand that the animal weapons were only able to resist it. They were still at the same risk.
Yeah, but they could resist it. As far as we're aware, this wouldn't have been able to, which is why I didn't use it.
Goodbye.
Yeah, it's been a while since I used it.
Well, yes, no, having equipment, and honestly, Corbin, were we not being more or less fairly clearly told by the tower that we're on a time crunch here, I would definitely support going after the red spear. But
Ooh. So
Lulu?
the animal weapons are sentient, right?
yes,
Which means they're people-like-ish, at least a bit.
Vaguely.
If we cast the
To an
telepathy
extent,
spell
yeah.
on them,
Right?
sorry, what?
Yeah, they have names.
They do have names.
Isn't that, can't you just use the cube or a spell that's like the cube to summon the anima weapon?
good question.
I don't know the mechanics of magic quite as in depth as you do, Gwynferon, but I don't think that works.
Oh,
The
the Dragon Mountain and the Galadier and theoretically demons and stuff with this. Why wouldn't magic weapons work that way? They're people, sort of.
Give me an Arcana roll, Gwynferon.
okay, yeah. 24. People, not creatures. Objects can be people, but
Yeah, there is from a magical perspective there is a distinct divide between creatures and sentient magical items. That being said, Weaveborn thinks that might work.
Oh,
yeah, because Weaveborn doesn't play by the rules.
Weaveborn's one bad staff.
I've got one charge in this cube left. Do we want to give it a try?
I mean, if it
What else
works,
are you gonna
I
use it for?
will.
The cube's not going to be destroyed, right? It recharges if you try
Yes.
it. Doesn't-
Yes. Yeah. No, I've used the cube twice today, and there's still one use of it left today. So we don't
We're
really have
not
anything
going
else we need to do with it.
left
We-
because it was a rough fight.
Weaveborn does counsel that depending on the situation of the particular magic item, it might not work. But if the magic item is just sort of laying around, pretty certain that Fatebender, which is apparently trapped behind behind the luck of the draw, probably wouldn't be able to be summoned because it's magically retained. But something that is not magically sealed away might work.
Because it's just on a battlefield somewhere.
Yeah,
as far
lost
as
in
we
hey
know.
Harry,
Uh-huh.
some battle might get pulled through with it. Is that okay?
I mean, it's not a fucking dragon, unless it is a dragon.
Harry, I can turn into a dragon.
Yeah, but I can't kill you.
I can't die.
I mean,
Did you really just oh no.
It's gonna keep Harry happy.
Okay.
Are you going to let Harry fight you to the death?
Gwyn suddenly turns
No.
into a puppet frog and starts drinking out of a cup of tea.
weird spell. Is that one that Galadier taught you?
Okay, for
It's a,
fuck's
it's,
sake,
a, it's a
people.
variation, but
For
Also,
fuck's
Harry, I
sake,
think I
people,
win.
I'm not. Yes, I'm in this for the fights because literally I have, other than the same stake that everybody else has, of, this world's pretty nice, I kind of like being alive. I have absolutely no stake in anything that we're doing. So, yes, generally, I'm here for the fights. That doesn't mean that I want to slaughter party members because I haven't killed anything in 5 minutes.
No, we were just saying that you probably would want to kill Hope since it's not going to have long-term effects or consequences, and
We
you'd
were
be able to go toe-to-toe to a dragon.
It's
But yes, we were
still
mostly being
murdering someone.
This
Is
is
it?
fast. I did not know
Even
this.
if they come back, it's still murdering someone.
Wait, okay, all right. This is fast because you've stabbed me in the knee multiple times now.
Are you dead?
No, it
Did
hurt a
you
lot.
Die
It
and
hurt a
come-
bunch, and I did not
Yes.
ask you to do it.
That's because
But no,
you were a bitch at those points. And you needed negative reinforcement to remind you not to be a bitch in the future. It hasn't worked.
So
That's technically
I-
positive reinforcement because you're adding pain in order to dissuade her from. Sorry.
so what does any of that have to do with whether or not we're just going to try
Yeah.
and Corbin's
Oh yeah,
weapon?
try and do the thing.
No, we're talking about Harry does not entirely lack ethics the way she felt she was being portrayed.
Right.
That's what
Yeah,
I
we
thought.
know.
He's
We're making
not a
a joke.
bloodthirsty
It's
monster.
like
That just wants to kill every party.
it's like a joke. It's when you exaggerate a thing.
See, I know you're joking. I'm not sure if Hope was joking.
No,
Oh,
I
that's
wasn't.
See?
Inside of
All
Hope's
right.
head, You should apologize. You were hurtful.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Should we go see if we can find Corbin's toothpick?
Yeah.
I mean,
So you have to
go
here?
see or
Probably best
attempt here
if we
because
do it on this plane.
Well, we're going to
Yeah.
do it here, but I'm going to do it in the laboratory so that things are actually.
You have a laboratory?
feels-
Why?
so that you don't draw a battlefield into the middle of this lovely living room.
More or less.
The lovely living room that is going to vanish once the spell ends, and no matter what happens to it, when you bring it
I
back,
have more equipment to do complicated magic up in the laboratory than I have here in the common area.
Trying to get us to move. Come on.
The stick stabby core one is the one you want, right, Corbin?
Yeah, the red spear.
Mm-hmm.
The Red Spear of Kultir.
Yeah, red spear of Kultir.
Okay, whichever.
All right.
God,
Which is supposedly just lost on the
Aaron
battlefield.
doesn't remember after a month or two.
Yeah.
Kultir War God.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I reiterated the full name, so that everyone could hear it.
Mhm.
Red Spear of
Legit.
Kultir. So, you retire to the laboratory.
So we go upstairs. There are 7 locks on the door because Gwyn does things according to tropes on occasion. He unlocks 2 of them and pushes the door open.
Gwen, do you happen to be the 7th son of a 7th son?
No.
because no one, not even Gwen, is free from genre.
Wait, what? What's your last name again? You said this.
Minar.
before. Okay. Does that ring any bells from the
Gesundheit.
reading of this book?
No.
Okay. Fascinating. I continue on.
Inside, it's all circles and runes and magical instruments and notes stuck up on the wall and in frames and on shelves and things. But in the middle of the floor is probably about a 20-foot radius, just cleared space where the stone is engraved. So does Gwyn, having spoken very briefly with Weaveborn on this, does Gwyn think he has to do anything significant or unique to modify what the cube is going to do?
No, just if you summon it using its full name, and it is if it's awake, if it's in its anima state, if it's awakened, then there is a chance that it might work.
All right. Well, let me take a look at one thing.
I'm just thinking about the beginning of Nox right now for some reason. Which is a reference that only John will get because I don't think anyone else here played that game.
Don't even know what game you're referencing.
Nox. It's an old. What
Diablo-esque.
What
game.
was the company name?
Westwood.
Westwood. Yes, it's an old Westwood game. Westwood, famous for that and nothing else.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because they closed down right after it failed to sell.
Hope, I do apologize. And he casts Foresight on himself, which removes it from Hope.
Oh, okay.
They also made Red Alert too.
Did they?
They did make Command and Conquer Red Alert.
I mean, I don't know if that's something you can be known for.
Thing is so gonna fly through the air and kill one of us as soon as it comes through.
Pulls out the cube. I summon the Red Spear of Kultir. Click.
Roll me a D100.
Do I get advantage on it for Foresight?
Advantage
roll?
Foresight only applies to D20 rolls.
It's true.
Aw.
That's a 5.
You should have let me roll.
Low's
I
usually a good thing when it comes to D100s.
So
I don't know.
Depends.
a hole opens up, and a blood red metal shaft comes flying out through this hole in the space. I need all of you to make dexterity saving throws.
Yep.
Thank you, Danger Sense.
Yeah.
but
Advantage from that?
how, yeah,
That's a 12.
how
I'm standing
wide
right
is
in front
this
of this thing, aren't
area?
I?
How the area? Yeah, how wide is the laboratory itself, Gwen?
It's about a 20-foot radius.
Okay, so
Circular room.
I didn't
everybody's
do that
within about
much
10
better.
feet of me.
Oh,
I mean, maybe.
Oh,
Gwen would have probably stepped away into the middle of the
Okay,
room,
yeah.
so Gwen is probably not. Everybody else is probably.
oh man. Both of the halflings apparently did not roll
I
that
am
well.
going to use in. Wait, do I have any left? No, I do not. Because you have not taken a rest yet.
I will use my last charge of it though.
Fuck you.
20. You can get a +1 though. That's
Yay.
15 instead of 14.
So, this blood red spear comes shooting out, and at first it doesn't look like it's actually heading towards any of you, and it sort of curves itself in midair, almost like it's seeking a target. As it flies, stabs into Gwynferon, blasts out the back. Gwynferon,
Seeking spear.
you take 17 points of piercing damage as the spear rips
of a
through you.
Bitch.
It then
Please tell me this is
shoots
gonna do a
past.
Yes. Tell
It
me that
shoots
this is gonna
past-
be like Yondu's fucking.
I'm glad you
Yeah.
also thought
It-
of that.
It shoots past Gwynferon,
Yes, Yondu's arrow.
heading towards Hope, who dodges out of the way. Hope, as you dodge out of the way, it slams into Harry, ripping through Harry. Harry, you
Sweet.
take 16 points of piercing damage as
I-
it flies out the other side of you, heading towards Gashkar, who ducks out of the way. As Gashkar gets out of the way, it heads towards Lulu, who is not able to get out of the way in time. Who takes 22 points of piercing damage, as it then finally flies towards Corbin, who manages to get his shield up just in time to ricochet it off the shield and into the floor.
I forgot to add my shield.
All right, now everybody roll an acrobatics check and see who's on the bottom of the dog pile as we all try and hold this thing down.
As you should now be able to see the red spear of Koltir currently embedded in the ground.
Also, even more red with a lot of people's blood right now.
The blood sort of blends in with it. It's the same color as the blood.
I just need to ask:
I'll,
did we hear a whistle?
No, you did not hear a whistle.
Aw.
I'll grab it and
It does not come out of the floor. You sort of grab and tug, and it's sort of stuck there.
I will grab it and tug it out since I have a strength of
pull it.
25.
I can.
You both grab it and start pulling. It refuses to come out of the ground.
Okay.
Do
Lulu
we
will sort of kneel down next to it, pull out Dragon's Tongue. Do you know each other?
We're not exactly on speaking terms, no.
Hey, Spear, if you don't yank yourself out of the ground, I'm gonna pee on you.
Don't.
So
Please.
Gashkar kind of just leans to the side and looks at Storm Herald. Do you happen to know what the spear's deal is?
The red spear is kind of a moody son of a bitch.
I can imagine. Does it not wish to be drawn from the ground until it is soaked in enough blood?
Kind of?
Hey, Corbin,
Come here, stab. Just shove.
You
Corpse,
wanted
like,
the
face
spear.
first into it.
and you're going to be the spear's partner, so you're the one who has to prove yourself.
In Gashkar's head, Storm Herald continues. Unlike the rest of us, it requires a blood sacrifice to be attuned to, and it doesn't really like to be touched by anybody that isn't attuned to it.
Hey, Corbin, you need to bleed on the spear a lot.
stab, specifically impale your hand through it.
Specifically, according to Storm Herald, impale your hand on the spear.
Okay.
The back end of the spear has a dagger like pommel.
Yeah, I saw.
Something about blood sacrifice, and the spear refuses to be wielded by one who is not properly attuned to it.
Sorry, I know you said hand, but I heard face. Didn't anybody else hear face?
No, Harry.
Harry, we respect our partners and our weapons, and look, if the spear wants a blowjob, it's going to ask for a blowjob.
So just real quick, I'm gonna dump a cure wounds on myself and the second wind.
Here, I still have healing hands as well, so that's 23 hit points.
Okay, so that's.
I'll wait until someone asks.
I will wait 15 seconds.
Yep, and then I will pull off the gauntlet on my shield hand, which everybody will notice is missing 2 fingers, and then stab it right through the palm.
So you come over and you put your palm on the pommel of the red spear.
And in my other hand, I'll grip the spear pendant that I have.
And you push. And you feel it pierce through your palm and jut out the back of your hand. And there's this excruciating pain as you push down, and you feel that you're supposed to push further. So you push further down, and you all hear the sound of flesh and blood being spilled and flesh being mutilated as Corbin jams his left hand further and further down until the spear is well over halfway through his hand. Until you get to roughly the midsection of the spear. At which point you just sort of instinctively twist your hand and grab. With the spear still sticking out of your hand, you are now able to pull it out and free from the ground. In addition, you take 84 points of damage.
That makes sense.
As you just jam this spear through your hand, grab it, and are now able to draw it out. You are now attuned to the red spear of Kultir. It will automatically reject one item that you are previously attuned to, particularly if it's a weapon.
Yeah, it's the Vorpal sword is no longer attuned.
So yeah, the Vorpal sword just sort of drops off of you. Similar to how Gwynferon's staff shot away when he attuned to Weaveborn. And you feel power just coursing through your arm, as much as pain. It seems that the red spear, what it demands in sacrifice, it returns a certain amount of power. And in your head, you just hear this oddly calm voice. I see I have a new wielder. What is your name?
Corbin Landis.
Good. Know that the pain you experienced should and will be dealt again to your enemies.
I have a specific group that I intend to use you against. But know that you'll be bathed in blood frequently.
That's the objective. And you are now attuned to the Red Spear of Kultir, whose stats I will give you later because I didn't have it prepared because I didn't think about fucking gate spell.
Just from the corner, mutter, blood is blood, and flick a hand, and I'm gonna cure wounds Corbin, or healing word technically Corbin.
You want to get that spear out of your hand?
Or no, I'll walk over and do cure wounds. Why not? And second level, which means it rolls at third level.
You have the feeling that you can now remove the spear from your hand, Corbin.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Or you could not.
Just get
And look
advantage
super
on-
badass for a really long time.
Yeah.
I look super badass, but just not be able to approach your girlfriend.
I will never be. I won't be able to walk through a door without just like holding the spear like this the whole time too.
Have that too.
Dog carrying a stick through the door.
I mean, I'm not hearing any downsides.
Yeah, no, can't be disarmed.
I mean,
Just
he'll
empty-handed.
look super badass until his hand turns black and falls off.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So
So
you,
yeah,
Then
Corbin, you get 20 hit points back.
Then you just get a metal hand.
so yeah, there's this sickening sound of meat being sort of sliced off as you pull your hand back off the spear. The cure wounds from Lulu. The cure wounds from Lulu causing the hole in your hand to close up.
Easier when you have blue skin. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if I can do what I want with this and we can accomplish our goals, then it'll be
Wins
worth
head.
it.
Is that the real reason you want more money?
No, actually. I'm quite happy with my own modifications as they stand. I don't see the need to necessarily chase down any others.
So, now with the red spear acquired, what are you guys doing for the rest of the day?
Hope is before she's right before she leaves the mansion itself, just because I know that you can't talk to, once you're on the other side of the door. I'm just gonna be out. See you all tomorrow morning.
So, like, moments after
Wait.
moments after Corbin finished removing the spear from his hand, you get that message because Hope noped the fuck out.
No.
Tomorrow I guess we'll ask the people who actually stayed around to vote tomorrow. Are we teleporting to Dragon Money? Teleporting to Tower? Going after another anima weapon aside from the ones we already have?
Gwyn's going to spend the rest of the day inscribing clone into his spellbook, and that's going to take him well until bedtime.
Look, as one of, I think, three. I lost track, and I really don't give a shit how many people left who don't have anima weapons.
You and Hope.
Yeah, I was one of 2 people. I couldn't care less about getting a talkie stabber. If we're going into it, if we really need to get money, sure, fine. I think that is something that could wait, and we could perhaps, with the ridiculous amount of power at our fingertips, go knock over a small nation when we get to that point of of castle renovation / construction. But if I get to go kick a dragon's ass, I'm okay with that. Otherwise, let's fix the world before we,
Okay.
lose our spot in it. Also,
Perfect.
that's the quickest way for me to kill something.
You are the one who Hope is most likely to mention when she's doing something that she's not saying. Does it sound like Hope is going to go somewhere else other than the tower next? Because she sometimes decides that and doesn't really explain it to us.
Go anywhere? No.
I feel like there's a second part of that sentence that you're still trying to formulate.
Yeah, when you
She's not
qualify things, we get suspicious.
I'm aware of how I worded it.
Go anywhere? No. Do something stupid? Yes.
Got a book.
She's
You
not
never
gonna
know.
go anywhere. She just rented some books from the Black Archive. That's it.
Oh, which books?
Well,
You can rent books.
yeah,
Borrow, but yes.
yeah, they come back whether you want them to or not. If you forget you have them, I guess.
It's quite convenient.
One was we tried looking up something. We tried looking up information on the Void Lords to see if we could glean anything about them, but couldn't read those books. Jack can't read those books.
Who the fuck is Jack?
He's
A skeleton.
librarian. You haven't been in the Black Archives, have you? Have you?
Do I
Doesn't
look like
seem-
a scholar
Yeah,
to
no.
you?
You look like a scholar if it relates to fighting techniques,
You're not wrong.
which I'm sure they would have some books in there about that. But
Okay, fair enough. No, I have not been in the Black Heart.
I haven't been able to check them out yet either. But
As in, they won't let you, but they will let you check these other books out, or you didn't think of it.
I didn't think of it.
Okay.
We had more pressing matters at the time.
Jack is the keeper of the Black Archives,
But,
who
yeah.
has a certain affinity and attachment to the place.
But
Right.
yeah, we tried reading a Void Lord book that did not. Nobody died.
This
I
time.
feel like
They were
there's
locked.
context missing.
The books were locked away, and when I asked if anybody had ever read one of those books before, he said no.
Uh-huh.
And I probably should have asked if they had read it and survived. Maybe that would have been a nice qualifier to have too.
Wait, I still feel like
words moved
something's
on the book.
missing.
The words or writing moved on the book, apparently, according to Hope and Jack.
And
But
yet,
neither read them. It's one of those magic things. You don't know. You see a weird book. You have no idea what the fuck it's gonna do.
I think Harry's more concerned when calls from the other end of the room where he's scribing notes in his own spell book.
Why is
That-
that died?
Know that if you have access to a book that could harm or kill you simply by reading it, why the fuck does Hope think it's a good idea to check it out of a library?
no,
For-
I was
for
still
what
honestly
yahoos.
just trying to comprehend the what was missing in that sentence of we read a book, nobody died, with the last part of sounding like I should know why that's the case.
with the
not
unstated
elaborate.
implied, nobody died, of course.
Whatever books
Also-
you read.
Why was there a chance for someone to die?
Also, I am interested in this idea of books that you can read which kill you, because that is a new combat tactic.
Oh,
Um,
well, yes.
Unless you open it and they go.
Lulu looks down to the book and she is currently attuned to. Thinks better of saying anything.
But yeah, other than that, the
Like,
other
you
conditions
get
are-
into a fight and you're like, hey, asshole, thump. And then they look at it, and what happens when you die reading a book? Do you...
Depends on how you like
Your
the book.
brain probably melts out your ears and your nose.
I was gonna say, does your brain melt out your ears? Do the words come off and like choke you? Like, yeah, this is something I would need to know if I was using a book tactically.
Most
Interestingly
of the
enough,
time-
Gwenferon,
Yeah.
both of those things can happen.
Yeah, No, I'm familiar with explosive runes.
Well, there are also animate book golems that can be created that will, like, literally just be a book that kills you.
Death by 1,000 paper cuts.
No, death by a book that spontaneously grows teeth out of paper and bites your face off.
That's a mimic.
Not a mimic, an actual book.
I mean, you could lump them all together.
But I assumed that she checked it out so that maybe one of you people that's
Would
more
die?
well versed in magic. We don't know if it would kill him. But we don't know if it won't.
I think we need to have a
And
discussion.
you wonder why I don't like you very much.
We need to have a
I didn't check
discussion
it out.
about. No, yeah, this is a hope thing. We need to have a discussion about the meaning of friendship in this
No.
party.
The main reason I say that is because it's a book from the Black Archives.
Uh-huh.
There's a lot of weird magic-y shit in there, and these books and throughout the entire place, just you can grab, read whatever, except these books were behind locked, chained bars.
That
would
sounds like
make sense for the reality destroying dreadlords things that we were talking about in relation to the tower.
Right.
that sounds like a thing that you don't open and read.
Yet he freely did it, and he seemed, for a skeleton, happy to check it out.
And I need to go back to the point that apparently we are trusting an animate skeleton.
Yeah, he's a pretty nice
I
guy.
don't think we're trusting him so much as Hope was the one who, it sounds like, asked for this, heard the dangers and decided to do it, and then decided to replicate that again.
Jack is not your babysitter.
Like,
And I have never been.
I can think of other campaigns that would disagree with that statement.
Okay, that's fair.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. As much as you have set this up in this is a thing you should not do, I really want to do it now.
But does that make it a safe decision?
No.
And
That makes
would
it
it
the
potentially,
opposite.
like,
Which is pretty on par for this.
okay,
group.
so the act of doing it is not the thing I have a problem with. Hope has a death wish, but she's also immortal. We've kind of covered this a few times by now.
But here's the question.
If
What?
she does it in a very public place, and instead of like just dying, it possesses her and starts growing tentacles or books at people,
Well, we
that
don't
might get us in trouble with local law enforcement.
Well, yeah, and here's my question. I don't know. I don't know the answer to this because honestly, I don't think has Hope died while Harry's been around.
No,
Yeah.
Hope hasn't died
She
since the
is.
castle.
So as
Yeah,
far as
she
she knows,
died
this
in a
could be
while.
complete bullshit, just like fucking the voices in everybody's heads.
Yep.
But anyway, so here's my question about this reincarnation thing. Let's say Hope, I don't know, is driven insane by just before her head explodes. When she's brought back, does her brain get put back into like non-insane
Probably
mode?
not. Well, it depends. If the insanity itself killed her, the mortal wound is probably gone. But no, if she just went insane and then also got stabbed, probably not. Again, Hope has a death wish, and whether or not you believe, which I've seen, so I
Oh no, I buy it. That I buy.
like.
Somebody coming back regularly from the dead is completely plausible.
Yeah, she's grown a little more comfortable with it than I'm comfortable with, and I'm afraid for when it doesn't come back, when she doesn't.
Well, is that her ultimate objective, to make enough deals with different gods that she can never actually die because they all still need her? One of them still needs her to do something, and then a different one needs her to do something?
No, I think she just wants out of the first one.
Then why, instead of trying to get out of it, does she try and keep her immortality but get out of the deal that gave her the immortality?
I don't know if she's trying to keep her immortality. I think she just wants to be like she was before she died.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, so
And I assume she brought the book back
how
for
pressing?
people to read.
How pressing is the idea that Hope is wandering around a decently populated area with a book that has the potential to create madness and or summon / possess people with / have information on Eldritch Dreadlords, and is probably just going to ask the nearest person that's good at languages?
She's reckless with her life. And maybe a couple of your guys's, but not random civilians.
Okay, so not that pressing.
Yeah.
Nothing that probably a little bit of work and a few modified memories wouldn't be able to fix fairly well.
The link is still active, right? It's
Yeah, but
Yeah.
Hope's not in the thing.
Yeah, go outside.
It's a
if you
different
wanna
plane
talk
now.
to her.
oh, okay.
That's
Alright.
yeah.
You'd have to step outdoors to talk to her.
Okay.
I can stay up as late as you need because I think the spell ends when my spells reset.
No, the spell is I think it's
Just 8 hours, right?
Yeah.
Reset, so it was a little unclear.
yeah, it's a specific it's not a concentration spell, it's just a time limit.
Okay.
It lasts for a certain amount of time, then ends.
I think it's 24 hours, isn't
I
it?
believe it's 24 hours.
I will
It's either-
pop spell
it's-
back in chat again.
It's either 8 or 24 hours. It's one of those two numbers.
To 8 creatures.
Oh,
For 1 hour, we've been way
Oh
overestimating.
yeah. There you
Yeah.
go.
No, sorry, the T set.
Yeah, the T set.
the
had it.
T
Oh, the
set.
T set. That's right.
The
Yeah.
T
That
set
was from the
has
T set. That was different.
has a different amount.
Set of telepathy. There you go.
Once per long rest. So yeah. So once you guys take your long rest, it ends.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Admittedly, I don't have the full text of that because I never received like item text. I just had a general description explained to me and wrote down what I remembered of it.
So wait, I'm confused. We were talking about what we're doing next. Now
yeah, I don't know how
Yeah,
it's
and
evolved into
I
this.
mean, okay, if Hope tries to read a book that may or may not kill her,
Okay, true. That would
Oh, but-
divert our plans.
that doesn't change the plans. But it's possible that she decided that it is really, really pressing for us to go swimming in the Mariana Trench.
I don't know where that is.
I don't either. I made it up.
Is that like the?
Not a real place.
You
I
weren't.
made
you
it up.
weren't there with Jack. Sorry.
It was like something that
Yeah.
I think the point came across, even if
Yeah.
I made up. The
Yeah.
language.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
no, I understood.
But okay, the book is probably not going to affect that, and Hope is probably not reckless enough to unleash it upon the civilian population and get us in trouble.
Hello, have you met Hope?
Anyway, before we have this same discussion that we just had over the last 5 minutes over
Yeah.
again, yes, Hope has gone off to do a Hope thing, but
Right.
votes for going into the tower first thing before we go anywhere else tomorrow. We have one from Harry.
I'm fine with going into the tower.
I have a question.
Yes.
Most magic and abilities and stuff refresh pretty quickly.
All right.
Like the next day. Do we have anything that we would need that doesn't refresh for the next day, but instead
A longer period of time, not to my knowledge.
okay. If Hope has it, she's not here to vote. So I'm for going in immediately.
All right. I can put the dragon horde on hold, or at least wait until we've gotten one thing covered, and then if it requires it and we're no longer on a time limit, we can always just go find a different dragon to kick
Or
in the teeth.
Topolination. I'm cool with the Topolination plan.
I mean, that's if we run out of money, which I don't think we will.
We're still unclear on Parnath's particular status right now.
Yes,
Not going
Parnath
into
is
because she could.
all right. So yes, I will throw in my vote on the right back into the tower tomorrow morning. Then.
Meanwhile, Hope,
Yes.
you stepped outside the mansion. Immediately got cut off from telepathic bonds.
Yep.
Where are you going? What you doing?
Not like that. She is going to go to she is going to go to the Temple of Aradanir again.
Okay. You go to the Temple of Aradanir.
Oh.
There are soft blankets, people in various positions of worship.
Not
Sounds
just of Radnir.
sounds of ecstasy and pleasure echoing through the marble halls.
I'm going to go to the most official looking person.
The most official looking person is wearing a gimp suit.
Yeah.
No. The most official person is wearing a dominatrix outfit, standing behind the person with the gimp suit.
I mean, that would follow.
That's fair.
There is a black-robed androgynous figure standing over a prostrate worshiper holding a whip.
Okay. Hi. If you're busy, I can come back later, but I just had a question.
No, certainly. What would be your question? As they apply the whip to the worshiper.
Okay. I have a book that I really, really, really want to read.
It's a weird kink, but okay.
Just picturing Hope going up
Yes.
to a leather-clad dominatrix, currently with heel-on person that she is
Yep.
whipping, saying, "I have a book I really want to read."
Yep.
I want to call out that Lulu's. Hope will go up to the first person that seems like they'll be able to do it.
That is not exactly what.
Spot on.
Oh. The person looks at you for a second. And
I was wondering if you or someone else here can help with that.
possibly.
You haven't specified why it's a problem reading.
Why is reading it a problem?
Okay.
The words squiggle everywhere. Also, I think it might kill my brain, like just sort of liquefy it in there, and I'm slightly worried about that possibility.
Wow, that's not remote. That's not ridiculously.
That's
That's
the most
not
Holy
burying the
shit.
lead.
I've got a murder
Hope has
book.
been
for you.
reading anti-porn propaganda.
Okay.
This book might make my brain explode. So, will you read it?
No, that's not
No. She's asking for a comprehend language spell.
Yeah, I know.
assistance. Yeah.
Well, we could possibly assist you with that. They look over at another one of the priests and just sort of gesture before taking their healed foot off of the worshiper, which is then promptly replaced by the other one, who Follow me. And they will sashay off down
Margaret, could
a
you
hallway.
cover while I'm gone?
I will follow. With the book.
They'll lead you into a more private chamber that is lit with very dimly glowing candles and with rose petals sort of scattered around the floor. So
Sorry, I'm uncomfortable. Can we do the lights up?
you do know whose temple you came to, right?
Yes, I do. I do. But there's more than one kind of desire, and that's not mine.
Not my kink.
Different room then. She'll lead you out of the room.
You have something with just like really crappy white linoleum and fluorescent lighting, because that's really kind of the mood I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
Dingy bar bathroom, right? No,
Just want everything to be
Better
painfully
than
visible.
leads you to another room that has a large sort of more comfortable couch, much brighter lighting, less rose petals, although no rose petals.
A non-zero number of rose petals.
Yes,
Got
a
it.
non-zero number of rose petals. If you'll take a moment, I'll just go and freshen up. As they lead you in, close the door behind you, and head off in a different direction. You're currently alone in this fairly comfortable-looking room. Looks like it might be a reading room of some kind.
This is such a bad idea. Such a bad idea. How do you not read a book that's there and it's very cool and it's got stuff on it? I am attempting to play to a Radnir.
You're attempting to pray to a Radnir?
Yes.
How?
Just by repetition of just like panicked nonsense, mostly.
All right.
I do.
You sit there and have a panicked nonsense moment.
Okay.
Nothing
Cool.
seems to
right.
happen other than the door eventually opens and the same person comes back in, this time wearing a much more modest sort of light blue robe. The whip is no longer in hand. Wearing flats now instead of heels. So, are you wanting to read the book yourself, or are you wanting assistance with translating? What is the
No,
actual
you should probably not
objective?
read that. It's a book that has apparently a whole lot. I put the book on the table. It has a whole lot of arcane knowledge from another dimension, possibly, and I think it nearly killed all of us. Something from that dimension nearly killed all of us with just like a thing of oil in the Tower of the Gods. And so I just want to know what we're facing here. And I don't know if this will help.
How about I try to allow you to read it then?
I don't know if that's a good idea.
Adventurers have the weirdest kinks.
Yes, I do.
They sort of sit down on the couch next to you.
Yep.
I can either try to read it myself or allow you to read it. There's not really many other ways to discern knowledge from a book.
Is there a way to tell what's in the book
Osmosis.
just by like... I have a thing I can do sometimes. I've already done it once today, so I can't do it again. That tells me if things are a bad idea. And I've lost my like voice in my head that would be screaming at me right now to not do the thing. Not that I'll ever listen to him anyway, but also
This is a bad idea.
I can't hear you.
When you-
You've gone out of range, and the telepathic bond is gone.
I just think that it's very fitting that in the comic adaptation, these two scenes are playing out side by side.
Yes,
Yes.
It's not happening.
absolutely.
Mhm.
It's beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Yep. So I don't.
I
Mostly
I can certainly cast for an augury, but those are notoriously very either vague or unhelpful.
Yeah.
Especially when they are cast in this god's world?
Is it a good idea for me to read the book?
How does
What will
the
happen?
cleric of Aradnir read the entrails?
I don't know.
Well, if you'd like, I can cast an augury and ask that question.
Yes.
I'll need you to lay down, she says, patting the couch.
Shit.
Face down on your stomach.
Okay.
Not better.
I will do so very carefully.
They begin to massage your back.
Okay. Please warn me. Touch.
They begin to massage your back as the somatic components of the augury spell for a cleric of Aradnir.
All right.
Make a wisdom saving throw,
Okay.
just in general.
17.
You fall asleep.
It's you feel this person is very good at giving massages. Like you just feel like the tension just like sort of melting out of your shoulders. Do with that what you will, but it's a very good massage.
Oh yeah.
And this is literally multiple lives worth of tension. Then this is in the literal fashion enough tension to last 3 or 4 lifetimes.
Next time, yes.
And it's just melting away. As they seem to be reading something in the way your muscles tense and relax as they're performing the massage.
Yep.
And after a while, as your shoulders just start to, that soft, the best way to describe it is that soft warm, like it feels like your muscles have been working, but it doesn't hurt. It just sort of is warm. As that begins to set in your shoulders, they sort of tilt their head. According to the augury, it would be a bad idea to read that book.
Okay. That helped a lot. Thank you.
If Hope can.
Let's do it anyway.
Yeah, if Hope does that, I will be so excited.
I'm gonna just, can I like sit here for just a minute and then I'll just go?
Certainly.
Thank you.
Do you want to sit here by yourself, or would you like me to stay with you?
By myself.
All right. They will sort of gently pat you on the back. From somewhere you're not certain where, mostly because you've been laying on your stomach, they put a bowl of grapes on the ground next to you, next to the thing, and then leave, closing the door behind them.
I will sit there for like 5 minutes because
They're
that
good
was
grapes.
wonderful. Hope has never had a massage in her life. And then I will get up, look at the grapes, take a single grape.
It's a very good grape.
I have not eaten it yet.
You're holding a very good grape.
Take the grape. I will leave. I will go out into the...
Do you leave the book behind on the desk?
No, I
Okay.
am not leaving the book behind.
Okay.
I will put the book back in the bag of holding.
Okay.
What side? So I have seen a dragon around the area. What side
You have,
do I know it's
you
not
have
a dragon?
you have seen an ancient dragon before, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But what side of the because the city's fairly big, I don't want to go and intrude on his territory.
Max's territory is to the south of the city.
Okay. I will go to the north then.
Okay.
I'm gonna turn into a dragon. I will absorb the grape into my form.
Okay.
Fly out. Find a. Actually, no. I'm gonna clutch the grape in my claw.
Okay.
Fly out.
Great.
Nope. Not crush it.
There-
Just hold it.
So there's a bit of a reaction from the wall as the guards
Yes.
spot a sudden dragon that appears and starts
Yes.
flying away.
Uh huh. I will go.
You get far away enough before they can start shooting at you, though.
Yes.
So.
Go and circle. Not too far away, because this isn't gonna last for very long. Just curl up and then, as a dragon, eat the grape very carefully.
It's a very good grape. You barely notice it because you're a fucking ancient dragon,
I know.
but it's still a very good grape.
But also, right now, I have a great Constitution score, so that's I didn't want to die as me.
It's
from
a
this point.
very good grape. Is it a good grape?
Grapes are terrible.
I don't understand that reference, William.
Is it a grape that provides enough food for a day and heals one hit
Oh,
point?
it is not a good berry. No.
Oh, okay. And then I will just lay there and eventually turn back into me, and I'm gonna camp out there.
All right.
I still have a tent.
You camp out in the middle of the grasslands around Kor.
Yep.
And as everyone returns to their eventual nightly ritual of whatever, that's where we're going to end for this week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
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 Goodbye.